So in this video, I'm just going to talk to y'all briefly about how to get through the devil's force field. Okay? Now, these are some things to check in your life or to check about yourself. Oh, Halsey. Halsey's here. No, you're not. No, don't go over there. We'll wait till we get more people in here. Halsey, see, I knew you was going to do that. We'll wait till we get more people in, and then I'll finish talking. Okay, so how to get through the devil's force field. Sometimes you may feel like there's a dark force field and you can't get through. Almost like the more you try to get through it, the more weaker you get, the more negative or more angrier you get. If this is happening, it's because it's something that you may have blocked about yourself. Now, someone could have influenced you to block a part of you, or you did it by mistake in just pure ignorance. When I feel like there's a devil's force field all around me, and it's like I feel like I can't hear God, or I can't hear the power that God gave me, or I can barely even sort things out, even in my mind, where I keep looking outside of myself a lot. I know for me, if I'm in that energy, then it's normally something that has been messing with my connection to earth. Now that's for me, okay? It took years to figure out that that's how I get pushed behind the devil's force field. And the reason why it took years for me to figure that out with myself, with the earth energy, the earth, parts of the earth, it took me a while because I was too busy catering to it that I did not realize it was actually what kept on putting me behind some force field where I always felt stuck. Like I had some years in which my money never went over 20,000, and it was like nothing I did could make it go over, and that's all I would bring in was 20,000 a year. It didn't even matter what job I went after, um, and the job would always cost more getting to, and expect too much out of me. What I found out is that I was catering to the negative side of earth energy. Of according to my career, it was people who felt like they was entitled to my work. Greedy managers who were toxic and disrespectful. Work environments that was really unhealthy, and it was getting me sick. So that was also blocking me from God. Like, I remember going to the work jobs I chose, and I would be sick within 2 weeks after being there. So the money and the energy, and I was always around middle-aged people, so a lot of them was in our earth energy, and so they was toxic for me. Now, I noticed that every single time I'm in healthy gratitude energy, just to be in the energy, I noticed all of a sudden that block come with like temptations or uh, bad energy come with the earth energy. It comes from me. And it's almost like it's a challenge in my personal dream game. And so once I started saying, "Ha, gotcha," and to the earth energy, next thing you know, um, my mind works too fast now for my body, which is a sign of actually getting in alignment with the higher up angels. We're not just making a phone call. Now, I realize every time I went with the temptation or the negative earth energy, I was stuck. I would be stuck. Now, If I couldn't get unstuck through self-reflection of my own energy, this might have been the most toxic or the most broken. Without doing that investigation, I would also just lay there. Now, I don't mean like lay there like I'm trying to clear out the energy or like I'm trying to meditate to go deep. Like laying there just to be like, you don't even care about time anymore. You know, sometimes we're stuck because of our obsession with time. You know, we're obsessing to make the most of our time and grind and whatever. So the devil drains us, and then his force field is very strong. We can't burst through. We can't get through. So when that happens, especially if you feel like you never have enough energy to get through obstacles, it could be that you actually need to just lay like there's no time. Literally, don't even let nobody tell you what to do. Like, don't, this is going to sound weird. Don't listen to your minister. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to nobody. You just sit there and you wait until your heart starts tapping on your mind. You'll feel a sensation like your mind is like, yeah, I'm ready to, I'm ready to have life. And it will get to that point. And then that's when you try to get through the force field. You just go through slowly. That devil force field will come down because your mind has reached a point where it's like, I'm loving life. I really like life in spite of what I know about it. Like, you'll get to that point where I just want to be in life. But it may take days. It may take hours to get to that point. I had one time, it took me 7 hours. Hi, everybody. It took me 7 hours to get to that point. And this is where they say journeying to Mecca and journeying to the mountains, you know, like Jesus and the saints did. But when they say that, because you feel, you know, like a dark force around you, like Malcolm X felt, and that's why he did his journey to Mecca. When you feel like that, okay, you don't need to know why that dark force is on you. At some point, you need to just let the energy leave you. Don't even try to get the energy out of you. Sometimes the devil force field is strong because it's been polluting you, quietly polluting you. So you need to lay there and just let it fall through you. And then the clarity and the peace that's left starts to fill up your mind. That's all that's left. Your whole mind may not be mesmerized by life. You still may have some little negative thoughts about it, and that's why you ain't going anything, getting through the force. But at least there's an abundance because you laid there. There's an abundance of hope, what we call hope, but really acceptance. Okay, that's the first. Is hope is acceptance, accepting the situation, and then saying, I need to use my eyes to see my way through. But a lot of people don't get to that point because they don't know how to just sit and let their body sit in their soul. We are constantly jerking our soul around here, there, pushing it, dragging it. I know that before our souls was in our bodies, there was some times where they just stayed suspended. Whether it was horizontal or vertical, they were still suspended, but it was no different than us laying on our comfortable couch. I think we have to just start doing that just because it feels good to do that, and then the devil's force won't even be that strong. See, the devil wants us to keep thinking of plans on how to get through, rather than letting the feel of our frequency determine whether we're going to get through, because the way we're acting and the way we're thinking. That's the only plan we should be having. The way we acting and the way we thinking. You know, when people do videos and they say, Well, if you're trying to get through to get the algorithm to keep marketing you, you need a plan. You need to plan it at this time, at this angle, with the camera this way. You talking when really there are some super successful people on YouTube. This one guy, and it's because he locked into the character, okay, how he's acting and thinking is in alignment with what he's trying to do, okay, what he has been chosen to do beyond the devil's force. So he doesn't have to worry about the devil's force blocking him. He 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 keeps the frequency. He got the frequency of how he is supposed to act. Because we're supposed to act a certain way according to the reason why we went through the devil's force. um, he locked into that character, and he locked into that way of thinking, which shows in the way his vibration, and a lot of other things, but that's another class. But what ended up happening is he ended up doing a video that was also in alignment. You see what I'm saying? His soul was able to whisper throughout his reality. So because his soul was in the vibration it was supposed to be in, and it's whispering through parts of his reality, like, okay, do this now that you filming, do this, do that, do that, do that, do that. His videos, this dude's video, all his videos practically go viral. And all he's doing is just sitting there talking. He's just talking about anything too. But that's something that I realized, like, until you have reached, till most of your body feels like it's in heaven, because pain of any kind don't even matter to you, it's not that significant, that's when you know that your body is mostly in heaven. When you're laying there, just laying there. If your body felt a pain, you wouldn't even complain. You wouldn't complain inside. If anything that hurt you before showed up, you wouldn't really be in that judging and complaining energy. You would just be like, you did what you did, so, God will handle you. And God will handle that person because you're in that energy. You can feel like you're soft glass. That's what you feel like, okay? If you can imagine what soft glass feel like. Now, like a balloon of glass, a balloon of soft glass. Now, when you're at that point, you just have to keep it so you don't have to deal with the devil's force and fear or struggle. You have to keep it. Once, sometimes you get lucky and you lay down for 2 hours and you say, woo, all of a sudden my frequency, I wasn't even asleep. And you say, do I even have any bones? You feel like you don't have any bones. Why? Because your soul don't have bones. It has stars. So when you feel like your body barely have any bones, that's another sign, okay, that you sat long enough where when you come across double forces, you're going to be able to handle them with peace and kindness. Because you always win being kind. You always win being kind. I used to think that wasn't true. I used to say I'd be kind and everybody winning in front of me. I soon found out that when people don't respect kind people, it ruins their character. So eventually they start to suffer in society. And you will most likely see little signs that they are. So you don't have to worry about if kindness is not working for you. It's always working for you. It actually helps you to have compassion for ideas that you think are mediocre. You're kind to your muse. You're kind to the Holy Spirit that helps you to be able to inspire for world success. So you're in that energy where it's like I'm just at peace. So you know they're going to get what they deserve. See, peaceful people are kind. Peaceful, if someone ain't kind, I know they don't got no peace. Or they're hanging on to some peace that literally wants to get them rich, but they just won't do it. They won't use it. You know, I don't want to leave trash energy in my life unused. If I got any trash energy in my spiritual field, I want to find a way to use it, one way or another. The dark don't get to stay in my life for free. Cause best believe you being kind, you ain't staying in their life for free. Definitely not, because you have more value, more spiritual value than they do. So I tell myself now, I say I'm gonna stay kind, and my spiritual value gonna stay strong. But somebody don't respect my kindness. I know their spiritual value is weak. I don't even want to get advice from that person. Like they better off not even saying hello. I don't even want their breath near me. Because it doesn't being unkind doesn't come easy. There was a lot of dark walking, dark travel energetically to get to that point. Human beings aren't built to be unkind. It's impossible because of our souls. Unless we the Antichrist, born a baby as the Antichrist, we was not meant to be unkind. And I think that it doesn't matter how gifted everyone think they are, because this is like the me, look at me, self-absorbed generation time. It doesn't matter if you unkind. People will feel guilty, feel like they turned against God by supporting you, and you just won't get support. I'm talking at this time because this is a time where people start making plans, you know, to achieve goals, and some people are planning to get wicked goals, do wicked stuff. Let me tell you, every time of year there's a checkpoint, okay? Where there's a point where you're cut off from being able to cruise the metaphysical space, all that peace and all that ease. If you ain't got your spirit together, learn how to be kind. Talent won't get you there. Talent's not going to get you to upgrades of your gifts, to upper mastery of your gift. It's not going to get you there. Kindness gets you there. Being uninterested of even being with the number one champions. Just champion of skill. I want to be a champion of skill on how to be one of the best positive person out in society. Because then my kindness will be authentic, and I cannot be denied my gifts. I cannot be denied. Talent is not enough. A lot of people think just getting talent, and then they say, well, I haven't created nothing in 5 years. And I want to say, how kind have you been? Or how cool have you been? How often have you been cool when it seemed impossible to be cool? Okay, if you can't name it, ain't been a lot, you don't have enough inner peace. You may not be acting on your low vibration, but you don't have enough inner peace. You ain't been kind. And that's what I told a family member. I said, you're not kind and you're not tender, so you keep bringing bad karma into our life. And I said, you won't even do that. First, get that together. I told them, I said, money and gifts can only buy people's voice but so long. Eventually, someone's going to be like, I don't want to F with you because you ain't kind. You know, people eventually get rid of anything that's not kind. And then you go to look elsewhere for the help, and you don't get it. You don't get it. You get what's unkind. Like I have a family member that always attracts unkind people. They started hanging around unkind people because they was unkind to me. And next thing you know, the people that was kind that knew him, they didn't want to be bothered with him no more. They stopped calling, stopped wanting to hang out with him and stuff. And they tried to complain at me. I said, no, you brought that on yourself. You wasn't kind. Because friendship is abundant too when it's a good friendship. When it's a kind friendship, it's abundant. And there ain't one person in this world don't get to the point where they miss companionship. Even the devil wants a companion. So I told them, I said, you being unkind is blocking you from companionships. Things that you connect with like it's a companion, like a cup of coffee. You'll find that you go to the store and your favorite coffee ain't there or your coffee machine ain't working. Hi, everybody. And I know some of y'all say, well, it's hard to stay kind since there's like very little people kind now. It's because they are collectively sharing the similar politics or similar negative energy behind their politics. No, my race is the one true race. No, mine's is. No, mine deserves to have more money than mine do. They might be rooting for different teams, but they still got the same toxic politics. A lot of people do. So that's why it seems like the whole world is turning, negative. They're under mind control. If you under mind control, you definitely ain't gonna be kind. You're gonna be struggling with being kind. And that's why half the world is not kind now. They let doors slam in your face. People don't offer to help you with your groceries. They won't even give you free directions to the gas station. A lot of people are not kind because they are not in control of their mind. People don't care the damage that they do to your mind when they control it. If they think they're right, they're not going to apologize. So I don't let anyone control my mind. And mind control also means when you're doing things for money. Some politics told you to do it for money. That should be the reason why you do it. That should be the reason why you get burned out. No child is raised without politics. As kids, we was trained to glorify the possibility of getting money off our energy. At some point we was when we was given a candy bar for a quarter and all that type of stuff. But what we learned is that it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter if we go harder or smarter with chasing work. Character has the last say. There's a lot of people that was getting rich on here. I ain't gonna say some of their names, and now they ain't getting rich no more on here because their character was toxic, like a lot of the collective out in the world. A lot of unkind people. Now I know people say, well, that's a negative way to think of society. Now let me tell you. People say people kind because they've been kind at home. But what about the kindness out in society? A lot of people ain't in that energy. They're just being kind to an opportunist. They're an opportunist being kind. Kind to their family because they know they can get stuff. Kind to their boo. But they ain't being kind out in these streets. I don't see it. People won't even say hello anymore. And then it's a lot of complaints about America sucks, all this kind of stuff. No. Popularity of your kindness, of your spirit is gets you the rest of the way dear, and people aren't understanding that. If people don't give off an energy of being kind in job interviews, of course the interviewer is still not going to hire you if they sense that you got a undertone of your energy that seems just self-absorbed and unkind. They're not going to hire you. You know, we don't realize that interviewers are often psychic and some of them are very intuitive. And I had a coworker, manager, who was not kind at all. But she would always act like she was kind when clients was around, when their families was around, and when the big CEO dude was on the floor. On the floor mean walking a walk at the job. But I was always kind. Now somebody framed me for something. It was a lie, and she tried to act like she didn't have nothing to do with it, but she did. But she was trying to act like she was being picked on, like I was unkind, like I blamed her when it was actually her. And so when we went before the CEO, the CEO, since they tend to be more kind, they decided to go and speak to the client's mother, and the client's mother confirmed what I said. But the manager thought she had the CEO trick because she always came off kind to the head staff, but meanwhile she was literally bullying everybody that was under her, being very abusive and insulting people, especially me. So then she was like real sad because she lost the case, and that's when she proceeded to like finally put me on my own floor and keep us separate. See what I'm saying? She tried to do everything by the book after that and keep us separate on different floors. So I became a manager of one part of the floor building, and she had a part. And then sometimes we would, do both parts of the building with the residents. But my point is, kindness wins in the end. It always does. And honesty. She thought she could hide that she was unkind. But once our CEOs talked to her for a while, the mask slipped off. Her energy changed. And so the CEO got suspicious and found out the truth. So that's what I'm telling y'all. These interviewers, if you're trying to go after a new job or career change, they are highly intuitive. I always have people say, you always get what you want, blah, 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 blah. I don't always get what I want. I'm attracting who I am. I'm kind. I'm attracting kind people out here. And the ones that don't accept it, I just say, well, I hope one day they get kind and realize it's not hurting anything. You don't like your job, you don't like your marriage, whatever, but being kind is not hurting you. It's not. You can be kind for free. So, only time that kind hurts you is when you, like, people love to say that they got abused because they was kind. No, you get abused because you put out that you was desperate. Okay, desperate people have a certain energy to them. But if you were kind, you were in peace when you were kind, you would actually be setting up protection for yourself. You would sense that the person is wicked. People who are kind because they have deep inner peace, they can sense if someone's wicked, even if they're being kind to them. Like if I be kind to somebody and I say, "Oh, let me carry your groceries for them," I still can sense whether they're in the wicked dark energy, whether they're deep into that. So of course, I'm going to set up protection for myself while still maintaining my kindness. Hi, everybody. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Say it. All right. So I really think I really think a lot of us divine ones just got to get to the point where we say, I'm not going to stop doing God's work, but I'll just work on protection. And the wicked have ways of sneaking in. People who are wicked now, I'm calling them wicked because that's what society know them as wicked. But really the wicked is people that have no integrity in using their free will. That's all. They ain't answering to no higher power about their free will. They're not even checking in. They're not when you think they're checking in, even in church, they're not. They're there to be entertained and entertained, but they ain't checking in. That's all. I used to think that people's wickedness was like, oh, it's for you. It's because of you and I singled you out. No, there could be 1,000 other me's of different races or whatever, and that person they will do it to them too, because they mistaken kindness for weakness. Now some people will, but I don't give a damn. Just as long as they don't come out my throat and they don't hurt me and do something bad to me, then they can walk away all they want and say, ooh, you weak because you kind. I don't care. If I didn't get no physical pain from it, I don't care. Somebody can sit there and be like, ooh, you a punk, you kind. Ooh, well, you know what I'm going to start saying to people? I'm going to start saying, well, that's your politics. I saw a quote in the book I got that my mother likes to, my mother's energy likes to connect to me through this book I got for women. And I saw this quote, and it said, and in my spiritual scriptures, it said, look for hidden messages. Wise ones got messages for you today. And the lady said, everything is politics. And I said, wait a minute. And it's like, now that I go over my life a lot during this wax and give us moon where you're refining, I'm seeing that, yeah, like everything is politics. Like most people who treat you wrong, there's some politics, even some American politics, governmental politics that are behind why they did you that way. So I try not to say, oh, it's just personal, did it happen to me? If you ever go deep diving into the lives of people who didn't appreciate your kindness, you'll find out that you was not the only one. They got a trail of minds cursing them. You're not the only one. So I just say, if it wasn't going to be me, it was going to be somebody else today. Their belief system is they acted on it, so it's strong. Ain't that deep? If somebody hates you, they got a belief system about you. And the fact that they acted on it mean it's strong. Mean that they're consumed by that belief they have about you. And that should scare you, even if they didn't threaten your life. That should just scare you that their toxic belief about you has reached such a strong level that they acted on it. So like for me, if somebody insult me now or attack me verbally in any kind of way, I already know that they've been working on that belief system to be able to do that. That there was times when they was sitting beside me that was working on our belief system when they weren't talking. They were smiling in my face and working on that disrespectful belief system. Maybe through an entire month. And then visualize themselves attacking me. People do think before they attack, unless they are way far gone, like insane people in an institution. And we can always spot them. If you're divine, you can. But I think that people need to get to a point where they start seeing that disrespect is actually when someone disrespects you, that's attached to a belief system that is like the devil's force field, where you're like, wow, I feel like I'm in World War II at night in a fog, when it feels like that, you know? Those people who come at you and put that in you, those people have decided that that's their manifestation. Okay? Those people have decided that they're going to go the opposite. So your mom may have said prioritize self-care. They decided to go the opposite. If they prioritize their self-care, then they probably wouldn't be disrespecting you. But see, their belief system is on disrespecting you. Their belief system don't care about self-care. And I notice people who disrespect me, they're in illusions that they got good self-care. They think they got good self-care, but they don't. And I noticed this, like I got a friend, an old friend, I ain't their friend anymore, but they would disrespect me just over anything. It didn't matter. They would get smart or ignorant over anything at times, and at random. And then when I started reflecting on their life and who they are, I realized that their self-care was bad. It was bad, and they had a lot of self-hate with their self-care. Even though they were among other people who didn't have the level of their self-care. Still, basically, their self-care wasn't like it used to be. The wild thing about people that play in the dark too much, that's always bringing that dark energy, they tend to always think a lot about the person they used to be, and they dwell on that and dwell on that and dwell on that, and then they start to get disrespectful to anybody. They don't see any success in them being ahead of people today. Like, they could be ahead of me. For example, that type of person could be ahead of me today, and it won't care because they're too busy glamorizing who they used to be, and it's often because of something that they think they remember they were doing when they were that other person, that they think would give them a power that they don't have anymore. And that's deep. That is deep. I literally got this as a whole record as I was meditating on why my old friend just kept on disrespecting me. And I picked up, God showed me the record of what's going on with their spirit. And it was because they didn't like who they were today. They wanted to go back to when they didn't have no wrinkles. They hated being older. They hated being older. But even though they never said it out loud. And they wanted to go back to when they was able to manipulate all kind of people, because they're very manipulative. They was able to manipulate all kind of people because they looked young. They want to go back to that time when they was using different people for money and stuff. They missed that because they're broke, because they've been in karma for years. And they don't even know if they would stop trying to go back to that old person they was just to use people, that they would actually get out their karma that they're in with their self-care. And so basically they saw that I was okay with who I am today. See? That I'm going from here. So that was making them disrespect me. And then I got confirmation. One day out of nowhere they was like, let me show an old picture of you I saw on your Facebook. An old picture of you. I said, no, don't put me, don't try to put me in your energy. I said, stop right there. I said, don't try to make me think that I got less abundance because I'm not 20 years younger. I said, don't try it. I said, you in that energy, you in that energy. Don't try to bring it here. So after that, they felt some kind of way, and I noticed that they were pulling their energy back from me. And then I said, well, I'm gone. We can't even be friends at all because they want me to be in their energy. And I don't want to be in their energy. And they're aggravated that I'm not in their energy because they know their energy is out of control. With trying to go back to who they were, and then this person, that person from the past, and this person, like 30-year gap. No. They just would not accept the season that they're in and go from there. Work with what you got. You know, when the creators say work with what you work with what you got until you can get what you should have. We all should have skinny bodies, nice and lean. Nice and lean. The creator never wanted any of us to drop dead from obesity. So since a lot of us don't have that because things were done to the food, we didn't even know it was done to the food. Let's keep it real with all the steroids in the food. Steroids make you gain. That's why we have an obesity, or if you want to call it big, thick epidemic. All the steroids. If you ever notice when you eat wild caught fish, you'll notice that it's easy to stay under your calorie maintenance. As soon as you go over to the non-organic vegetables and the red meat, you'll notice you'll start gaining. Even if you're not like craving. It's not that you want more meat. The steroids is making you eat more. Plus medication. Okay? So recently I realized that if we don't celebrate the season that we are in while we're trying to get to a different season, we're going to be blocked to get into that different season. Because we're coming from lack. If we're saying, yeah, I can't get nobody's going to love me because I'm obese, I'm big, thick, my hair is short, you're all coming from lack then. That's coming from lack because there's people who are successful obese and people who are successful with short hair. So the point is, celebrate the season that you in. A lot of people are not kind because they're not doing that. They're living the glory days. They're reliving the glory days in their mind. And then here's the thing. When there's actually ways you can get some of the best energy from your past. I try to understand why people dwell in what has passed, but is not lost. Like dwelling on a part of your lifestyle that has passed, meaning you did it in your younger years. Let's say you did it in your younger years, and you're acting like it's done and over. I find that thinking that it's done and over, it's over with, you can't do it no more, you're not going to be able to do it, it's impossible. That's evil energy. That's evil energy corrupting you. When I realized that I had to be like, okay, in my old lifestyle, I like to go on walks just to walk. But I didn't know the other part. I would say go on walks. I miss going on walks. It felt good or whatever. And then I will be like, well, those was the days. I was skinny then. I started going down that energy. Until I said, this is ridiculous. I can still walk. I literally have legs and feet. I said, so I'm going to walk regardless. I don't have to be a skinny woman walking. I can be an obese woman walking, and anybody's unkind ways is their problem. Somebody be unkind, that's their problem. So I said, I'm going to walk regardless. But then I said, I'm going to walk because I like to walk. I just like to walk. Now, of course, that was me going off script. I'm supposed to be in the energy that a lot of people are in right now, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm running, I'm jogging, I'm lifting weights, I'm fasting through this walk or whatever. Because that's how I would have done it back in the day. But see, the season that I'm in says no. That was for the younger you. That was for the younger you. Yeah, I can probably sprint, but I can't be sprinting up a whole 2 hills and across a bridge like I used to. We got to live in, we got to, come to reality sometime. So I said, well, I'm not going to say I can't have an abundant self like I used to in my 20s. It's just some part of that doesn't belong in this season now. And for me, it was definitely like doing it because I had to get in shape. Whatever I'm doing, I never thought like that. I just did it because it felt good. Everything that I did in my 20s and my 30s up until 2013, it was because it felt good to do. And I just remember I hit all my targets. All my goals was always achieved. I got my first car, my license driving my first car. I got contracts as a model. I even ended up getting swimming lessons for my daughter that I really wanted. My hair grew real fast, super fast. It was like a whole lot of things achieved. So I realized in this season, I just have to do what feels good to me. It's hard to do that because this world tells us what's supposed to feel good. Literally, our family members, our spouses, bosses, everyone's telling us what we're supposed to do to feel good. Or to keep feeling good. Soon as you surrender that, soon as you disconnect from that thought, see, that's you being young. If you're real young, kids, you tell them what's supposed to feel good. They waiting on you to tell them everything to do. But once you get in your 20s and up, at some point you learn the importance of doing what feels good. I know y'all been told something else. Do what feels bad. Bad is good and good is bad. But that's not true. We shouldn't even be beginning to do no work until we've decided to do it because it feels good. Regardless of what anybody else say, it feels good because we enjoy it and we know it's who we are. Walking is who I am. Hiking is who I am. Swimming and swimming sometimes, night swimming. I love evening swimming. That's who I am. Going on slides, parts on water slides, that's who I am. Do some people think I'm too old for that? Yeah. But I'm not going to stop going. Before I even had my daughter, I was pregnant with my daughter at a water park. The point that I'm making is getting to that point where you do it because it feels good. We're living in a world where everybody's doing whatever feels bad that they think will lead them to something that will feel good. Long term. People put up with what's bad because they think they're going to get something that will feel good long term. And it doesn't work that way. The only proof of feeling good is the experience. That's it. It doesn't matter the reward. The reward you get, all that is motivation to do it again. Like the extra little push. to do it again and that made yourself feel good. But the experience is the proof. I thought I would feel good if I got publications and all that type of stuff. I didn't feel any different. I still felt the normal good. I thought I would feel like the supreme good once I got publications. And it didn't happen. I might have felt like that if I was a dark sider, if I was wicked, I would have slipped into narcissism. But because I wasn't, I didn't feel that. I said, you know what, it don't even matter with the publications and contests. It's not like they gave me a 10 times boost to my feel good energy. So now I just send my stuff out to participate in the contest because it's fun and it feels good. I still go to the opening of the winners or whatever, and I read all the work of the winners, the finalists. I read all their work. And I say, okay, they did pretty good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure they do that when they read my work when I win. But my point is, winning is not going to do it. And some people are not going with the shift because they want to be like, I want to guarantee that I'm going to be a winner. People are so scared to be stoic and humble during the economy right now. And while Trump is in office, they're scared. Okay? But when you pursue a passion that feels good, you will automatically find it easier to live humbly these 4 years while the economy is going through hell, while prices are rising every month almost now. You'll feel okay about being in this time period, at this time. So for me, I said, I'm doing my passions because they feel good, because I need to be able to remain humble during this time period. And humble means I'm not chasing to be a winner. I don't know why people don't see that's not humble. None of the angels are competing with each other. They don't care about competition. There's no way that any of them could lose. And when you want to be a winner, when you do something just to win and not out of just let's see what happens, because it might, I feel good about doing this and I just want to see what happens. When you're not in that energy, then you're trying to win. You're literally in devil energy, in angel devil energy. You're a fallen angel. And I realized that I don't glamorize winning anymore. Being among the champions, I just don't. I disagree with that with Stephen Pressfield, where he says, yeah, you do it for money, and he said, you decide to be a military or a champion man or whatever he was saying. I said I disagree with that, because if you wake up every day where you're trying to win a battle, then you're not going to have faith in yourself. You're going to base upon what the other team is doing. And not see that even no matter who you fight, do you know both people come out the winner? People don't know that. Because however people are acting is what they want to manifest. So they still won by their energy of what they're doing affecting you. And my energy might affect them. So let's say I'm going at it with somebody and their energy is real dark or whatever, and they end up manifesting darkness because they was practicing it on me. Because practicing is still manifesting. So they still won though. They still won. Even if I won by not getting taken down by their negative energy. I won by getting them to leave me alone. So we both won. So I think it's ridiculous to say, I want to be a winner in this contest. No, you won by the fact that the judges got to read your work. Judges of it. You get to find out why they didn't choose you by seeing the work they chose. So you won. You won against your past self that didn't even know that's how you can do it. That's how you can find out how to be a winner. But if you went in trying to be a winner, then of course you're going to choose an energy that you think is just what you would get. See what I'm saying? So like, I realized if I was focusing on being a winner in the one contest, I would probably not pick the winning piece. I would not pick one of my winning poems, because I would be thinking about what I know the competition is out there already, and I will be trying to pick in which I think would beat them. Not keeping in mind that the judges may not think that. So that's why I say I'm a winner when I am true to my emotional connection to the thing. Okay? So when I go through my poems, I say, which one am I really feeling right now? Really, really, really feeling that I wish that I could refine and complete. It would give me great joy to do. If I have that in my mind, and I know that I'm probably working on something that's a winner. So, of course, one day I'm going to choose that and send it in a contest, but not because I think it's a winner because it could beat everybody else. I think it's a winner because I know that I loved it in spite of even knowing the competition. I loved it. I worked on it, and I didn't even know the competition. I didn't even go look to see what the judges are looking for. I didn't look at the previous winners so I can determine what I need to do. I didn't do that. I literally just went on my feelings, and that's it. And when I started doing that, I noticed I started placing. Like they would be like, "Oh, you placed first or second, or you honorable mention," or they would be like, chosen features at festivals and things like that. So they started like saying that, like awarding it, paying me for my work. But I couldn't understand. I said, I don't understand why they chose these poems. But then when I went dig deep into that time in my life when I wrote them, and when I was writing them, and when I was working on them, I didn't care about winning. Not winning against the world. I was trying to win against the devil that told me that I can't talk about it. Okay? In my poems, I said the devil trying to tell me I can't talk about this, trying to tell me I'm not qualified. So I'm going to prove I'm qualified to have a voice in art. I'm qualified because I won't be stopped, and I'm having fun doing it. So I kept on doing it anyway, writing the stuff, and I had no idea that because I was in that energy, that's why they would end up being winners in a future part of my reality. So I've learned when you're in the energy I'm talking about, okay, when you go out into the world, you will be kinder because you are doing things out of deep love, compassion, and the right to have a voice in it. And you're doing it with respect to other people who are innocent. When you do that, at least 40 minutes out of a day, 2 20-minute sessions, you can be kinder. You're kinder. I I know some dark artists. They're creating dark art, but they're not. They're not unkind. They're not unkind because they're doing what the metaphysical space approves of them. What they how they can get in when they get in it, and whether it's revealing the dark, but their celebration of their life shows that's why they're granted that power of feeling like they're just not bothered in society, or they're kind to you and don't care how you are. I've given out that vibration, and I've had to tell people it's because I hang out in the metaphysical realm just to be there. I'm a natural meditator. Like I it's like so weird that I could just do it in seconds with my body being in a metaphysical space. But a lot of people aren't going to the blue dimension. They're hanging out in the dark dimension, and they're hanging out there just to complain and just to be there. And then they go out here and they can't be kind. And I say, you know what? If you can't be kind and you're always in the dark dimension with your behavior, you need to go swimming. Like serious, some of the kindest people are swimmers. Some of the nicest people. People need to let the metaphysical world cool them down. They need to go to the water, and they need emptiness. Maybe a lot of emptiness in their life. Energetically, they will naturally be nicer if they're around it a lot. Okay, bye everybody. If you enjoyed my Sunday video, feel free to let me know. This content is not available for fair use. If you'd like to send a donation, you can send donations to my Cash App at @Coach V Hunter. I got a download earlier, give rather than take. So everybody got to find a way to give today, whether it's knowledge, guidance, helping around the house, donating something. Find a way to give back. Be a little generous. All right, y'all have my resources for sending donations or whatever you want to call it, a gift. Thank you very much for whatever you send, and I hope I see y'all on my other channel. Bye.